All right, we're continuing our way through CO4. We're now in competency 11. And so we're going to look straight into the workflow. And here what we're going to see is that competency 11 is applying lessons from Christian church history. Now, this is always a tricky thing because depending what part of the world you're from, then your church history is going to look very different than other parts of the world. But very often, church history is done from more of a Western perspective. So you have quite a bit of latitude here, but the learning experience itself that was created is excellent. So I want you to work your way through that, and the person who created it is really trying to help you to understand what are some lessons we can learn from church leaders who have gone before us and have done it well, and what are lessons that we want to avoid, that we can learn to avoid mistakes that they made. And so if you look in this, you will go through the actual learning experience on Pathright. Then you're going to create, and this has to do with whatever part of the world you are, create a histographic and graphic organizer that looks at the history of your church or your denomination within your country and your setting, because that is what's going to be most helpful for you. Then once you have done that, well, that's one thing you can do, or you can use the one that's there and you can use that to analyze and explain church history for another person. Again, I think for those of you who are not Westerners, then you will probably more focus on the area of 2, and you'll have to be looking at the church history in your part of the world and how it's contributed to your actual church. Because that's what you're wanting to also try to understand is how is it that your church actually came into being? Where did the seeds of that church come from? And so that'll be an important part. And then you're going to write a reflection paper on what you have learned through this whole learning experience. And so as you do this, just remember that you are a part of God's unfolding plan. And as a part of that plan, He has put you in a local church. And as a part of that local church, your local church has a history. And so you want to understand that history, and you want to continue to build and allow God to use your church to have an impact on the community around you. So I think you'll find this learning experience very enriching and quite robust in its presentation.